What's going on, my good people? It's been a good minute, man. Been a good minute, man. Just out here, man, getting my walk on. Decent day outside, man. A little bit breezy. What's going on? What's going on? I ain't been on live in a minute, man. I guess I'm gonna say it started off like this, man. I'm 44. My birthday just passed. My wife told me I'm gonna be a father for the first time, so I was in shock for 2 months, man. Just 2 months, man. Just in shock. Like, damn, you finally got somebody that you can call your own. Like, you finally got your own little old baby on the way. Somebody just for you. Like, man, I didn't been a godfather to people's children. I came into this marriage, been a stepfather. I've been so many different types of fathers, but being your own father is totally different. Being being your own father, man, it's like a ain't nobody ever claimed this baby, as a father. Like, you the father. It ain't like a father that gave up on the child, like you the father. So I really take that a lot, man. Like I always wanted to be a father. So just been working through that, man. Like, it's been like a something that come over me that made me want to like go a little bit harder, man. So I kind of took some time off from doing these videos to focus on, getting my family straight, you know. So yeah, man, that's been cool, man. So I've been kind of staying offline, man, to kind of focus on my business. And so, getting my business to a point where it can function on scale. So that's what we've been up to, man. But I've been, I be convicted, I get a conviction sometimes. Sometimes I just can't let the conviction go. I got to speak it. So this conviction that I've had for so many days and weeks has been on my mind, on my mind. And God was like, hey, if it's on your mind, you need to get it out of your heart. You need to speak it. You need to say it out loud so you can get it out of your heart. Whew. It's a tough conversation because um, it affects so many. It affects so many, but it's not talked about. It's not spoken about. It's like something you push under the cover. It's something that most people walk around in shame because of. And the thing that I want to speak about today is molestation. Molestation and rape. I'm gonna start it by saying, to all the victims of molestation, all the victims of rape. Good God, that's a big ass bird. Look at that big ass bird. They just passed by me. Anyways, um, this is a very serious topic, and when I asked God about this topic years and years and years ago, um, basically I got on live. He was like, "Hey, well, if you think that I'm playing about this subject, go on live and talk about it." And so, in talking about it, when I got on live and I spoke about it that day, what happened is people start to reach out to me. Man, that happened to me, man. Men and women, people that were close to me and people that weren't close to me were reaching out. And I said, God, is this the way it is? Is this what's destroying our nation? He was like, if you think that's it, let me bring it even closer to you. So I'm 40 years old, man. And for the people that don't know, I lost my sister to cancer at the age of 35. So I'm 40 years old. I've always known my sister to be a lesbian. Always. My sister, I put this in the book. The Good Narcissist, go pick that up. Um, I put this in the book. my sister, like at 8 years old, man. She said, Apache, come see. So I'm running to the bathroom to see what the hell she talking about. I'm a very curious child, man. So when somebody say, come see this, I want to go see what the hell it is. So I'm headed out there to go see what the hell my sister talking about. So I get to the bathroom and my sister is standing up peeing. She 8 years old. Well, I'm probably 8. She probably like 10 because we're about a year and a half apart. And my sister was standing up peeing. Like, she was peeing every goddamn where. She was like, look, I can pee just like you. And she was peeing just like me. It wasn't no aim attached to it. Shit going all up. But she was doing it standing up. And that was the first time I noticed that my sister was just a little bit different than all the other little girls I've seen at school. But I never knew what made her that way. I just accepted her for who she was, who she wanted to be, and we moved on. My sister played basketball. My sister was a awesome basketball player, and she eventually came out. What's weird about her coming out is this story also includes me. So I'm walking around the house one morning, one afternoon, and I used to just bust into people's rooms. I ain't knocking nothing, just busting down people's rooms. And so this particular day, um, I decided to bust into my sister's room. When I bust into my sister's room, this told me why I shouldn't be busting into people's room, because whatever stuff that they was doing in there, her and her girlfriend, I was privy to. And I was like, oh, and I hear her close the door back. Then she came out and she hollered and she was like, come on now, you know I've been gay. You know, this ain't no thing. I've always liked women. So I had to accept it into well, maybe it's just the way that she is. Maybe she's born that way. Maybe it's Maybelline. You don't even know. You just kind of like going along with it because you're a child. You're a child in your mind. You think that people were born that way. Like, So I become 40 years old, man. And I'm going through the spiritual journey. And this part of my spiritual journey asks me to ask my dad questions. Not like a dad, but asking him like a man. Like I'm talking to my dad like a man. So that was part of my spiritual journey, learning my dad as a father. And so talking to my dad, man, I'm asking about his fatherly experience and asking him things that he regretted as a father. And then we got to the point of my sister. And this is where it got weird, because he said that my sister told him she was molested at the age of 3 by a woman, by one of my mom's friends. And she never told anybody. The thing that came from that is, whatever that lady did to her, she actually liked it. So this begs me to ask a question. Was she really gay, or was she really lesbian? Or was she compromised by a nasty ass adult? That's what we got to ask ourselves. Was she compromised, or was she born that way? And that's when I started. I was like, okay, now that I have this information about my sister and the fact that she was compromised at a very young age, how many of these people that deal with sexual abuse, how many of them have been molested at a very young age? Some ages that they don't even remember that they were molested. Then I find out my young sister molested at the same age. My young sister was molested at. She was molested by a babysitter's older son. This is another part of molestation that we just don't talk about. Not the adults, but those like children, the teenage children, the older children. Like, what the hell have they been exposed to? What have they been exposed to where they're molesting babies? My sister was 3 years old, and so she had forgotten that this episode that happened to her. This is my younger sister. So I just gave you an episode of my older sister being molested by an older woman. And then God damn, it's a lot of goddamn spider webs out here. Ugh. Anyway, so my younger sister, she said she had forgot. Hey, dog, these spider webs, dog, this is ridiculous. These goddamn spider webs out here don't make no sense. Gotta make sure ain't no spiders on my back. But anyways, she said she had forgot that she was molested. But she said she was scrolling on Facebook. I think she was about 25. She said she was scrolling on Facebook and she saw his face. And she said, basically, your brain, what people don't learn about their brains, or if they don't already know, is that your brain it just stores information. So anything that happened to you, it didn't go away. It's still stored. So when she saw him, everything came back, and she immediately started crying. And so she said she wanted to call him and get him on the phone to get him to admit what he had done to her. And she said the recorder ended up not working, but he admitted that he had done that to her. And he said, this is what he said. He said, well, you enjoyed it. How does a 3-year-old enjoy sex when they don't know nothing about sex? Babies don't know nothing about sex. This is what adults need to figure out, because we are adults. We walk around in an adult world, but we don't even understand sex. Man, many adults don't even understand sex like that. So we're asking a 3-year-old to understand the emotions of sex when we got adults that don't understand the emotion of sex. So we have a kid that in turn grown that was probably molesting kids all over the damn place because his mama was, watching kids. Well, we got a whole little swamp situation going on out here in this back aisle, but I came this way, so I got to go ahead and go through. Um, but we got to understand that kids don't think about sex. Kids are pure. They have pure minds and pure intentions. Not like us adults who've been corrupted by the world. Um, these kids, they don't understand what the hell is happening to them. But what I found out is when they adapt it, they think that it's normal. So my sister, she is molested by a woman at 3. She turns into a lesbian. My younger sister, molested at 3, she is not a lesbian, but she has conflict in her body with expression. She has issues that internally she has to deal with to this day because of somebody that did something to her when she was a child. This is why molestation, God put it on my heart to speak on molestation today. Um, I can get a little bit long-winded about this topic, and I could give you so many examples, but I wanted to keep it close to home with my family. My 2 sisters that were molested, and even though I was not molested, I still feel in my heart for the situation my sister had to go through and what she had to live through all those years. You know, being a lesbian. I had to watch her go through that. I had to watch her go through being a lesbian. Like I had to watch her want to dress like a man, but every time she got a job, she had to dress like a woman. She'd be so upset. She'd be so mad. Like, why I gotta dress like, something I don't feel like. And all I was saying to myself, as the 40-year-old Apache that didn't know that my sister had been molested, I'm sitting here like, damn, dog, what could I have done with this situation to figure out how I could have helped my sister? Because I didn't know how to help my sister. And with my younger sister, I don't really know how to help her, even though she's still alive. Like I lost my older sister in 2015, but my younger sister is very hard to help her because internally, she got some stuff she's dealing with that it ain't got nothing to do with me. Ain't got nothing to do with me. And so it's very hard to help my younger sister. Like we have different mothers. We have the same father, different mothers. So when you got different mothers, it really changes the dynamic of who you are as a person. So it's really hard to get through sometimes to my younger sister, but I do empathize with her and the situation that she went through as a 3-year-old. And when we're dealing with molestation, man, it's so okay. Let's take it to this point. So I used to have a sex addiction, right? I used to have a sex addiction. Like I was not in control of my body. My body would be like, I need sex. And I would go out and give my body what it asked for. And so I started noticing something. Like I started having conversations with the women that I was having sex with. And what I noticed is most of them have been molested. Most of these women that I've been dealing with have been molested. They start telling me their stories. Imagine you sitting here and you talking to a woman. She looks perfectly fine, look like a perfectly well put together adult, but in her mind, she still feels like a child because she was molested at the age of 10. And ain't no way she can get past it. And these are the women I started dealing with. Most of them were sexually promiscuous because they thought that was the correct way to live. Because they had been molested. Man, I have a friend, and she ended up becoming a lady of the night. But her uncle used to molest her when she was a kid. The uncle was molesting her the whole time as a kid. So now she thought that she was in a relationship. She thought she was in a relationship with her uncle. That's how bad the molestation was. She didn't even know that dealing with an uncle in a romantic setting was not a good look. She didn't know that because she's a baby. She's young. Most people, these young girls might look young or grown in stature, but in mind, they very little girls. Some of them haven't grown past the molestation. So God really put it on my heart. He was like, get out here and tell these sick people what they've been doing to my children. What they have been doing to my children, how they have corrupted the minds of my children. Now you got my children out here selling themselves to feel whole. And so when I look at what molestation has done to a society, when you go outside and you see these people who've been really, really hurt, if you talk to these people, you'll find out most of these people have been molested. Most of these people that are gay and all this other stuff, a lot of these people have been molested. It's not the way that they just grow up that way. Some shit that happened to them. Maybe the parents didn't want to hear that their kid got molested and they won't talk about it. We won't talk about that. You know how some of those parents are. They feel like a bad parent because they allow something to happen to you. The thing is, had you talked to your child and talk them through the trauma that they experienced, they probably would have came out better humans. But you chose to keep it. Nope, we're going to keep this a family secret. The family secret that involves you, that you can't talk about. The stuff that happened to you that is painful to you, your family don't want to talk about it. So you start to rebel against your family. This is like innate. This is something that happens inside your body. You start to rebel against your family. I watched my sister rebel. It's like, man, y'all ain't do nothing about what happened to me, so y'all gonna have to deal with what comes with me. And some of my family wasn't with that shit because my sister was very matter of fact about her being a lesbian. Very matter of fact. If you can't deal with it, don't deal with me. Get out of my face. That's how my sister was about her being gay or a lesbian. So I got to watch that. I got a front row seat to her going through some shit. Like, I even got a front row seat of me walking in the church with her and people giving those mean stares. Well, I watched that. I seen it with my own eyes. And you can't run that past me and say that it was any different. I can look at your eyes and see how you feel about somebody. that means something to me. He was like, no, that's not what it meant. This is what I be trying to teach my baby child. She got terrible body language. When she don't like something, I was like, look, I don't give a damn about none of that. I don't care if you get mad. I don't care about none of that. But you better watch your body language, because one day somebody gonna punch you in the face for some shit that you said and the reaction to your body language. She ended up getting into a fight this year because her body language and the things that she say with her mouth. So back to this molestation thing. I think that it is the biggest spirit killer that we have witnessed in America. With the big emphasis on Black Americans. I ain't never been white, I ain't never been Asian, I ain't never been Jewish, I ain't never been none of these other ethnicities. I've never been that. But I have been a Black person in America that had to deal with the remnants of what this country did to my ancestors. I didn't have to deal with that. And so I was explaining to someone the other day why Black people need reparations. He was like, why do you think Black people need reparations? Okay, I said, raise your hand. It was like 4 people in the room. I said, raise your hand if you have ever been cheated on. Everybody raised their hand because most people in the world have been cheated on. So they raised their hand. Well, everybody's been cheated on. And so I said, okay, how did you feel when you were cheated on by that woman? How did you feel? Man, I feel terrible. I felt angry. Well, imagine if somebody was knocking down your woman for 400 years and you couldn't do shit about it. Yeah, imagine if you killed that slave owner for having sex with your wife. He would probably kill everybody there just to make an example of you. So you have to swallow your pride and let this man have sex with your woman. And then he got your woman pregnant, had a kid by her, and then guess what he did? He put his kids over everybody else, over the Blacker children, which is causing division, which is the same division that we see today with colorism. People don't even know where all this shit came from, but it is psychologically in your blood from the things that happened to you during slavery. If you fuck on somebody once for 400 years, my nigga, you owe us money. It's like a nigga getting mesothelioma, my nigga. You owe me goddamn compensation for my pain. And I really be saying this, bro. I'm really trying to poke a hole in your chest with the effects of molestation and what it did to not only a people, but what it did to a country. They raped and pillaged their way through this country. These people raped and pillaged their way through this country. This is exactly what happened. So you can't really change your stripes when you are away. So if people were raping back then, people raping today. People were molesting back then, people molesting today. And so we have to cut off the snake. We have to cut the head off the snake, man. It's gone too far, man. Molestation has been a drag on our society. It has killed the spirit of many children. And it's time for us to put an end to it.